And we're back. It is season 3 of your favorite podcast with your favorite girls, Tosh and
Nasia.
it's the Everything in the Kitchen Sink podcast, okay, also known as ETKS podcast. And we are back with season number 3. Thank you guys so much for rocking with us. It's been a whole, when somebody says a whole, you know it's a whole entire year of the Everything in the Kitchen Sink podcast. And we have just continued to grow and glow. And now we're back with a brand new season with some fresh, hot new topics. We got some vlogs coming your way. Nasia and I are going to be doing some experimenting with some different things on the channel. So make sure you guys stay tuned for all of that good stuff. What you got for the people, Nasia?
I'm just happy to be back. Hello.
Okay.
Back home. Back
Yes.
talking to my people, because I love y'all. It's just like it's a love going on. You know what I mean?
And it's the people show.
It's the people show. So we're back and I'm happy to be here. But let's get into these topics. Remember to follow us though at ETKS Podcast. Again, that's at ETKS Podcast. Hit us up TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, you name it, we on it. Okay, if you can't find us, hit us up somewhere. Okay.
And wherever you listen to your podcast, we are on Spotify, Apple, here on the tube, of course. We everywhere. Okay. Topic of the day, we're talking about parenting styles and does how you render your or how you rear your children, does their outcome later in life, is that a direct reflection? Is that indicative of your parenting? If your child grows up to be, a not so favorable member of society, if your child grows up to commit crimes or, just what have you, is it something that you missed as a parent or something that you did as a parent while your child, grows up to be an adult and does things that are not so favorable?
So basically, they become a murderer and a rapist.
Is it the mama fault?
It's not a nice person. They probably just trash people. Let's just keep it real. It's trash people.
Just trash people.
Is that
There's
your
a lot
fault?
of trash people in the world?
Is that your mama fault?
It's not a hard yes or no. It's a could be. It's a maybe. It's a maybe. Nasia and I were talking, and you do the best as you can as a parent, right? None of us are born with a handbook. Our parents did the best they could. They could have done a little better in some cases. And even I can speak for myself as a parent. I know that I have. You guys know I'm open and I'm fully transparent, open book here. For those of you who are new, we're both moms. Nasia is married with 2 kids. I'm single with 2 kids, 2 girls, and Nasia has 2 boys. But Nasia could tell you about her situation. So I'm a single mom of 2 kids. I have a 21-year-old. Shout out to Shams, and a 9-year-old. Shout out to my baby Seiji Pooh, who better not be watching this. So because we talk about everything in the kitchen sink. That's the only reason why I say she can't watch it. But Shemaya is watching, and she's a full-fledged member and support of the show. Okay.
Absolutely.
So I don't think there's anything that you can do to deter your child from growing up to be a trash person outside of being nurturing and loving and, ticking off all the typical boxes of making sure they have food and making sure they have a shelter and clothes. I know some people, they grow up and they're like, well, when we grew up, we were poor and we didn't have much. So now that I do have some money, I'm going to stunt or I'm going to show off or whatever. But I think that's more so indicative of the person and not the parenting. Because if the parents are poor, they were just poor. What did you want them to do? They did the best that they could. So, like I said, there's no hard yes or no on the parenting. It's the person. If your kid grows up to be a trash person, but in some cases, some things are missed. How do you feel about that, Nasia?
I'm 75%, or if I had to put a percentage on it, I'm 75% to say that it is the parents' fault, and then 25% to say no, because at the end of the day, it's not so much like you said, it's not a hard a yes or no situation.
Yeah.
But it's there has to be the blame has to be spread around. You just don't plop on this earth and become a trash ass person. Now it's either that your parents miss some things, or they encourage negative things, or they were part of the negativity of life. What they are part of it. I don't like parents like, oh, you could try your best and the kid's gonna still do what they want to do. Yeah, but you missed something, boo. we're gonna talk about we're gonna take some accountability, because at the end of the day, God gave you this child for whatever it is, 18, or if you still raising kids till 25, whatever the situation is. That God gave you this child, and it's partially could be your fault. Because I remember, well, who is it? Mama, NBA young boy mama was saying how when Floyd Mayweather critiqued her parenting and said, it's just how people were raised. And she was like, oh, it's not my fault. And da-da-da-da. And they could, I'm like, if I kind of look at you and then look at your son, there's a similarity kind of there. And it could be very much your fault. You know what I mean? Now, after a certain age, it has to be accountability on the adult person to say, all right, yeah, I was raised this. Yes, I was dealt these cards, but now I got to change. You can't be 55 talking about, oh, well, my mama this and my mama that. Like, no, boo. It's now, yeah, your mama this and your mama that, but what are we going to do now? But as a sense of the parenting itself, yes, there is a situation where, yes, it is your fault. If your child now becomes a murderer, there might have been a mental health issue that you overlooked. You saw them killing cats and you was like, you gave him a little beating and tell him to stop. That might have been something we needed to go and talk to the doctors about. You know what I mean? That's something that we need to look into as a parent. You might not have encouraged him killing cats, but at the end of the day, it's something that you just overlooked. Not to say you're the worst person in the world, but you did overlook, and you have to say to yourself, like, look, I wasn't that. I catch all of the questions on the test, basically.
Right.
What you think, girl? It's
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, like I said, we agree there's no right or wrong answer, when it comes to parenting. I mean, of course, we know the wrong answers, single parents or even working parents, even if you come from a two-family home, both moms and dads are working. I mean, even if you look at like freaking TV at the Huxtables. I mean, I know Bill Cosby's canceled, but we're talking about the Huxtables, not Bill Cosby.
Yes,
okay?
The
if you
show,
look at the Huxtables, the show. Yeah, if you look at the Cosby Show, Dr. Huxtable was a doctor and Mrs. Huxtable was a lawyer, and they were prominent figures in the neighborhood. But freaking Vanessa went to go have big fun, and she went to go off to do things, and Theo got into trouble, and the kids got into trouble. I mean, that's just what kids do. That's what we all do. I'm pretty sure that all of us, okay, have grown up and have done some things in adulthood that would make our parents be like, who raised you? Because that's not what we.
Who that?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like I'm pretty sure if my mother ever came across one of these podcasts here, we talking about sucking a fucking child. She's gonna be like,
she's like, not my baby.
Not Natasha. Mind you, I have 2 kids, so there was some fucking going on. So, but that's just what it is. And even some things like, I don't know. I don't necessarily look at it as viewing, but society looks at it as something negative. If your child grew up to become maybe not a murderer or somebody who commits crimes or anything like that, but let's talk about stripping, right? Stripping, sex work, whatever it is. The oldest profession in the book, right, is women or men, paying for sex. Not to say strippers have sex with men for money. It's 2 different things, right? But I'm just saying that whole industry has been, since the beginning of time, because, men want what we got. And even if they just want to look at it, they're willing to pay for it. Absolutely. And, is it wrong if your child grows up, to be a stripper? Is it something that the parent did wrong? I don't think so. If, whether it's, because the person wants to make fast money, I'm getting to the bag, I'm securing the bag, so I'm going to show my body, I'm going to twerk a little stuff, I'm going to show a little ass. I don't think this is not in all cases. In some cases, of course, again, neglect, people grow up in abusive homes and they figure out, this is the only way for them to survive is to show their body. But you have some people who like, you know what? I wouldn't mind somebody looking at it. I got this good body, whether I pay for it or it's God-given. I got this good body, and I won't mind if men, throw some dollars at me to see my little shape and figure. Or, I feel like it's an art form, and I want to showcase my choreography skills, or I want to showcase my sewing skills because I can make these bomb ass, stripper costumes. I don't necessarily think it's the onus is on the parent because a parent did something wrong while their child is a stripper. What you think?
No, I feel like there is. I disagree. Like I said, it's like a 75 disagree. I disagree because I feel like there is some onus on the parent of how you raise the child. Now, don't get me wrong. Unfortunately, society raising your child too while you raising your child. So it's like it's a double-edged sword. But at the end of the day, there has to be something in that child that makes them want to be a stripper. Let's just be honest. Shout out to all the strippers. But let's be honest, some of y'all know, if it came down to, you really wouldn't want to do it. Most people, not all, but most people would not want to do it. They're doing it because of the financial gain for it. So my idea is to say, if I am a parent and you now become one of my children become a stripper, I'm looking at it like, why are you stripping? What is it that made you want to strip? Is it just to get a bag, get the money, That makes me feel like I didn't raise you enough I feel like you're selling your morals for anything. Because if it's just a bag, like if you genuinely, like we were saying, genuinely love stripping, you love the choreography, you love, your exhibitionist. Some people just like being naked, you know what I mean? They run around naked all the time. Yeah. You like that kind of vibe, you're that kind of person, cool. But if you telling me, nah, yo, I make mad money, it's like, are we coming from a place of scarcity? What makes you feel like that's the only way that you could make a big bag? What makes you feel that, what did I do that makes you feel like that's the option that you need to do? Like, I feel like next week is, I could go to Dubai and make some old man pee on me. I'm getting a bag. Like, I feel like the society is too much, the bag. And now it's a point of, we'll do anything for the bag. So if you don't genuinely love stripping and that's not something you really wanted to do in your life when you was a little girl or a little boy, then the question is, why are you doing that? And if I, as a parent, I'm looking at you like, okay, where did I go wrong? I am at fault of that, because I didn't even teach you that you could do other things. Like, everything ain't about the money. Everything ain't about, and I said people should be poor or anything like that, but my whole thing is, it's not always about getting a bag. Like, what are you willing to risk? What's the next step? When a bigger bag come, are you now about to have people peeing on you in Dubai? Or are we now going to go sex traffic people? Are we now, what's the levels? Where does it stop for the bag? And that's what I would say.
Stop at stripping. Like, this is what I want to do. I know, I don't feel like it's a moral conflict if someone wants to strip you just for the bag. Like, at the end of the day, like, we all are working jobs that we necessarily wouldn't work if we know we didn't want to, feed our families or provide for ourselves. Let me tell y'all something. They open up a plus size strip club today. I am there today. Because it's like, the appeal is the money, and I think I'm a more
on a side note. But...
well, we need to do our research, because
on a side
my little sign me up now. Okay. And it's just like, it's the less that you have to deal with. And some people, like, they build a clientele and they have their regulars. And what's the first thing someone does when they want to, well, not the first thing, but for some people, the first thing someone, you want to spice up your relationship, you want to spice up the magic, they don on stripper heels and you want to twerk for their husband, they want to go on the strip, on a stripper pole or something. So there is an appeal to it. There's an attractiveness to it that, a lot of women flock to. And like Nasia said, I completely agree with her on the point where what Iana says, we're going to call a thing. It's not all peaches and cream. It's not all sunshines and sprinkles in the strip club. You are at a higher risk for, violence against you as a woman, and everything else that comes with that type of work. But I don't think that stripping is the gateway to other immoral acts. I think some people can hard stop at stripping, like, this is what I want to do. No, I think someone peeing on me is absolutely disgusting, and that's where it stops for me. I don't think it's a gateway drug to do hardcore other things for money.
But it is. It is. We gonna call it, like Iyanla said, we're gonna call a thing a thing. Mm-hmm. It is a gateway. Most people have said when they've done certain things, it started like people, not to say everybody that smoked cigarettes now are smoking crack, but a lot of people said that's how it started out when they were little. The people like this, look at the people who turned into crackheads. They say it started out, I was smoking and drinking at 5. Then I went to this, then I went to that. And the same thing with stripping. I started stripping when I was 15. Then it went to prostitution. Then I was sex trafficking. Then this, and then that.
I think that's on the greater end of the spectrum, though. I think that's on the greater. You have some strippers who've been in the business for years, and all they ever did was strip, and they've had successful relationships and been able to be great mothers, and use their stripper money to go on and do other things that they feel like. Because let's be honest, stripping is not a longevity thing. It's not a lifelong career because things start to fall and there's only so much plastic surgery you can do. And nobody wants to see, well, you know, you have some grandmas that are
some
still in the
granny
strip
strippers
club.
out there, but you ain't gonna
Definitely.
get the money you used to get.
Yeah, you ain't gonna get what you used to get. So it's not like, you know, a regular 9 to 5 where you can sit down at your computer for 30 years and work, right? No one's being a stripper for 30 years. We know that. But I don't think that it's like I said, I don't think it's a stepping stone to do more immoral things. I think for some people the appeal is there. And yeah, it's about the money and securing the bag, but I don't think that every stripper who is securing the bag is willing to have somebody shit on her for $10 million either.
But there's a lot that will.
I think it's a blanket statement. Yeah, of course.
There's been some successful in our day. They've just been successful strip stories. Let's just be honest. There's been women that have now. They make. I mean, there's a Cardi B. There's an Amber Rose. There's a this and that. But they are not the norm. They are the exception. And that's not everybody going to be turned into that. You know what I mean? So the point is, a lot of people get into harder stuff because at the end of the day, you are exposing yourself to danger. And like I said, I'm not knocking the stripper profession. I don't want nobody thinking stripper like, oh, da. But I'm just saying we're going to be honest about it. We're going to be honest and say, well, I'm going to be honest. I'll speak for myself, but I'm going to be honest and say that it's not something that you grew up and said you wanted to do. Now, that's not everybody. There are very few strippers that are genuinely want to be there. And when I say you, if you're that stripper that genuinely wants to be there, like you love the work, you love talking to your customers, you love being up there. I think Amber Rose said it was the best time of her whole life. You know, she enjoyed that whole thing. And if you're genuinely like that, that's cool. But I'm talking about if you're just not, you're just doing it for the money. Like you could really care less of what's going on up in here. As long as you're getting paid. Let's be honest, you would not have done that if you found another way to get paid legally. I guess you would have been doing something else too as well. So my whole thing is, if it's not for the love, I as a parent now, I'm looking at it is like, why are you doing that? Why? What did I do wrong for you to feel like?
I don't think a parent necessarily did anything wrong.
That's your lowest. Like this is what you got to do to make money. Like there's so many other avenues. You don't really love stripping. You don't really, because let's be honest, like you said. It's if you have to have a certain head to be above that and really love it, because it's dehumanizing at sometimes. It is. Let's be honest. You're in there as a product with your body and you're showing it off and you're doing this. You are being used as an object for these men, some women, the owner of the club not giving you your fair percentage. You're exposed to women on drugs. Women are doing prostitution. You know what I mean? I've been to a strip party and prostitution go on there rampant. I was a bartender at a strip party before. And it wasn't cute. Let me just say, when I think about it, I'm like, damn, yo, that really hurt my heart.
We know those things happen.
I was like, you're just doing stuff. You just in the moment. But I'm looking back like, damn, I saw people get turned out. I saw certain things. So I'm like, nah, I don't like that. You know what I mean? So
that's no secret. I mean, that happens.
Yeah, that happens. So think about what you have now exposed yourself to for a bag. You know what I mean? You don't even love the work.
But that's okay because I can separate what that girl over there is doing from what I want to do. You see what I'm saying? I don't think it's always like, strippers are viewed as something that's disempowering and you taking something away from women. I think in many cases, it's very empowering that I have control. I'm now a small business owner. I am, just 1099s involved and all kind of stuff. I watch a lot of YouTube videos of like days in the life of strippers. I suggest you definitely check out some of those videos. They're so informative because it's not really what you think it is. Like, these girls really like invest a lot into their looks. Like, okay, so I like to get done up and do my hair and my brows and my nails or whatever. But for them, it's like, these are like tax write-offs because this is like my business. Like I have to look good. Like I have to put all of this money into like these rhinestone, bra coverings up and, my stripper heels are freaking expensive, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, there's this thing about it where, it's looked down upon, but it's a full-fledged business. And I don't even want to get off topic, but it's kind of weird because I'm thinking about strippers and, we're talking about female strippers, but the same stigmatism doesn't follow male strippers. They have a different type of stigmatism that people, put on over them. They're gay and they're this and they're that and whatever. And if they want to be gay, then that's their business too, right? But I just feel like it's one of those things where we shouldn't look down on it. And if you were an adult, and I also think it depends on the age. Now, if you're stripping between the ages of like 18 to like you way too young, you should be in school somewhere. I don't think that's when you're really moving from a place of scarcity. Like, what do you need money so bad for at 18, 19 that you deciding that you want to strip? But if you're a full-fledged grown adult, like myself, or even like younger or whatever, I don't think your parenting and what your parents did have anything to do with you becoming a stripper. I think that decision is on you 100%. I don't think it's anything your parents could have did.
We getting close to 40 years old. I mean, ain't nobody. There are very few people who picked up this profession at this late stage. They've picked this up since teenagers, 18, early. I mean, it's a young woman's sport. You know what I mean? You got
definitely a young woman's sport.
You know what I mean? Your body got to look a certain way, and then let's be honest, things start moving around. I ain't looking like I was looking at 21. You know, maybe I could have been a stripper my damn self, but I ain't looking like that no more.
Right.
So the point is
I'm about to be a stripper after the show.
Get into this situation before you even really know yourself and you've exposed to it. Like I said, I'm always down for the people that love the work, but a lot of them don't love the work. I feel like I don't want to glamorize. I understand the life of a stripper, but the point is for you to take off your clothes, sexualize yourself, and get the money. Now, you might be dressing up, you might have choreography, you might be the best pole dancer since sliced bread. But that is the core of the business, is to show your ass and your punani and your ditty bitties and excite these men so they could keep doing it. At the end of the day, if that's not the core of who you are as a person, and that's not your real passion in doing it, and you only doing it for that money, I, as a parent, I'm gonna feel away. Like they always say, I think was it Chris Rock said, oh, his aim in life is to keep his daughter off the pole. I wouldn't say my aim in life. I don't have a daughter, but
that's the same Chris Rock who goes to strip clubs and throws money at women.
So. Absolutely. They do that. People do a lot of things. Like you play dudes and you got them for their money. Let's all be honest. But would you want your son to be that one of them dudes in the street? No. I mean, like, to be honest.
And if he leave himself careless, he can be got. That's on him.
Yeah, but I wouldn't want none of my sons to be just the food man or just the pay the rent man. I would be like, damn, son,
somebody's son is though.
Huh?
And that's the reality of it. And that's the reality of it is somebody's son is. Just, you know what I'm saying? Somebody's son is the simp. Whether it's gonna be your son or my son or Chantel's son, it's somebody's son. Shout out to Chantel, my bad. Somebody's son is gonna end up being a simp. That's not on you. That's the road that you chose to walk on as an adult, is to be the simp on the road. Okay. I don't think there's anything that you can do. I think you could only do so much.
But think about it, as right now in your childhood, just think about your childhood. There's certain things, even just small things. We ain't talking about major traumas or anything, just small things that kind of shaped you to who you are today. And then maybe in a negative way. And then you say, you know what, if I had this, or if my parent had did this, maybe I would have done that. It's not something you had to bring yourself to a revelation to say, oh, if I did this and I did that, I would have seen, certain things. I would have seen this. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
If my mom or dad was in my life, or they did this or they did that. Let's just be honest. We do
Absolutely.
that. So that is right there. That's the parents' fault. You would have seen it.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. But that could be with anything. You could grow up and not do anything with your life at all. You don't even got to get on the strip club. And just laying around in the house not doing nothing.
Maybe they enabled you. I know a lot of people that they about my age and they ain't doing nothing with their life, and their parents have enabled them to be bums.
Yeah.
And then turn around, they're now a bum. Now, at the end of the day, like I said, if you're like my age and you're still a bum, at the end of the apron has been cut. You gotta you have now chose to be a bum. If you're not going to do the work to change who you are, that is your fault. But the roots, the roots of the problem is your mama and daddy ain't put certain things in you. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day,
or maybe they put too much.
Perfect.
Or maybe they put
perfect. I know when I get older, my sons are gonna be like, Mom, you didn't do X, Y, and Z. And if you did it, I'm like, damn, But I gotta take the onus for that. That's my fault. I mean, I couldn't be.
No, I don't think that's your fault.
Who I am.
That's exactly the point. If your kids were to grow up and say you didn't do X, Y, and Z, but you know that you did your best, what more could you have done? Because you are coming from, and remember, we're at an advantage now, right? Because We didn't have the things that our parents had. Like we only knew in a community. You only knew what Miss Princess and your family and Aunt Jackie and them. You knew that parenting style. But now that you have the internet and you have YouTube, you have a plethora of different parenting styles. There's a thread I saw on I don't know if you've seen it. Maybe I can send it to you. There's a thread I saw on Instagram, but it's from Twitter. It was like your child breaks a jar of peanut butter. Respond as a Black parent.
Oh, I saw that.
And you thought everyone was going to be like, "Oh, to beat my child's ass." And a lot of the majority of the thread was parents saying, "Mommy's sorry. She shouldn't have bought glass peanut butter. Next time we're going to buy plastic. Mommy's sorry. Mommy will help you clean it up." So now that we're at a disadvantage point where we have different type of parenting and we have access to therapy and things like that, there's going to be things that we miss. But if my kid came and say, "Well, I felt like you didn't do this," and I'm like, "Well, at the time, at the time I did the best that I could. And if things were missed, things were missed, but we could work on it now, today, if you want to, but you can't go back."
No, you can't go back. You can't go back. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You cannot go back. And
I think you're doing great by your boys. And if your boys were to grow up, I seriously doubt in Jesus' name that's going to happen. But if your boys were to grow up and to be anything less than great, I don't think it's anything that you and Andre did as parents. It's just who they are as people.
Yeah, that's why I say that's why I say the 25%. But if I sat here and neglected my children, didn't do nothing with them, just let the system raise them, let them be the Black boys, they run the street, they've been out since they was 2 years old, they run in the streets with a diaper on or whatever the situation is. That's me. And then now they turn out to
that's what I'm saying.
The most gangster dude on the block. That's me. That's my fault. I'm
outside.
And the same way, I'll take the blame if they turn out to be Barack Obama, the president of the United States. Hello, that was my raising. That's my child. I put in the work. You know what I mean? So there has to be an onus and responsibility, not a responsibility to make you feel guilty as a parent, but to understand parenting. Because I feel like God puts this child in your life for a reason, and he wanted you to sit there and cultivate them to be the person that they supposed to be, the person that he wants them to be. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
So at the end of the day, there has to be a responsibility on you. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I said, some people might have an issue. Some people might have this. Some people might have that. But at the end of the day, there's a little bit of blame. I don't like the parents that talking about, "Oh, like it's hands off, like, oh, he trash. That ain't my fault. All the rest of my kids is fine." No, mama, daddy, step up. Because when your child win the NBA finals, you're behind up there talking about my baby. You got to step up when they trash people too.
I agree with that. I agree with that. And you may, there may have been some things you missed. Or maybe your kid was playing rough, and they said, "Hey, you got to play nice." And now they just, ran amok, and now they play rough. But if you went ahead and checked that behavior and say, "Hey, you're playing too rough. You may want to be gentle," and you've done all of those things, but then they grow up and they're still rough, they ain't got nothing to do with you.
Yeah, that's to say you did your best. But at the end of the day, we all are doing our best, and we do it to the level of who we are. But I guess, especially now, I wouldn't say there's no excuse, because people are still going through stuff the same way they was going through stuff 900 years ago. But the point is, I feel like now we're more, like you said, educated. We have the internet. People talk about therapy more, because back when I was growing up, nobody was talking about therapy.
Nobody talked about it.
If you crazy, or just talk to Jesus about it. It was those. So I feel like now we have I feel like maybe even now it's more responsibility on the parent, because it's like, you got access to a lot of stuff. You scrolling on Instagram all day, boo. I know a self-help and raise your child a certain way came up. If none of that came up in you got, we gotta be better. As a community, as a village, and we gotta want to be better by our kids and take that responsibility to say, this is my job, this is my purpose. If God made you a mother, a father, a guardian, a grandmother, whoever you want to your child, or whoever is to that child, take it up as a badge, like, we going to war, like, I got this. You know what I mean? I'm gonna do this. And if you did all of that, then yes. But if you at the child, I ain't got no time for no homework. I ain't got no time for this. If you that, like, come on, you know what's gonna happen. This is, and
I don't got energy for those people.
Yeah, but let's be honest. Think about everybody that's, not so wonderful people, or they've been through some stuff. They always go back to their childhood. Like, these 18 years that you have your child is such an important time, because I've seen men 60 years old something happened when he was 15. You know what I mean? Like this literally set the tone for your life. So I feel like we have to take responsibility for it. We have to take it as a serious situation. And we have to say, if we see certain things that happened, and not to say be guilty and now hang yourself in your bathroom because your child turned out to be a killer or your child turned out to be certain things, but just say, damn, I didn't miss that. You know what I mean? Maybe now I see that I missed that. I see a young girl raising her child. I could say, yo, maybe you should talk to them about that. Oh, I saw my son used to, like, I hate to go back to it, but my son used to kill cats, and I see a little boy killing a little hamster. You might want to talk, like, even that is a lesson so you can pass on to the younger generation, even if you missed the mark on your own child.
I'm not going to hold y'all. I know little kids who are assholes, and it has nothing to do with their parents. I see it all the time. I don't want to call any names on this podcast, but I am in some children. I'm in a lot of children. I'm in a lot of children's lives. And I know babies. I'm talking about babies who just come out with attitude, who don't listen, who talk back, and I'm like, how? You just got here. Where all this energy come from?
But did the parent kind of encourage it? Kind of.
No, I said
their personality, but did they curve them to show them to be that type of person?
Absolutely.
At a certain time.
Absolutely. I could call names. My niece Bella. Shout out to Bella.
Lord, don't call her name.
Bella is gonna be 3 this week. Let me tell y'all something. That little girl's a terrorist. I've been a mother for 21 years. I've been on this earth
this is Tasha's thoughts.
This is Tasha's thoughts. My niece will agree with me. I just comment down below, niece. I get my niece to put it in the comments, okay? Bella came out the womb on some unbothered, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna do what I want to do. I may take this breast if I want to. I may drink formula if I want to. Y'all not gonna know. Y'all gonna have to figure out what y'all doing with me. She's gonna be 3, and let me tell y'all something. I just got off the phone with her earlier, where she's like, she calls me Shasha. She's like, Auntie Shasha, I'm coming on the plane. I'm gonna go come see you on stage. I'm like, come on down. But let me tell you something. I would not be surprised if she was knocking at my door. Because
she's about that life.
The little girl out. She is about that life. I don't know if it's because she's a tourist. I don't know what it is. But some kids are just born like, you just kind of, their personality comes through. And as a parent, you try to curve it, like, you don't be nice. Like that. Like, okay, me and Nasia's son, for example, her oldest son, right? We don't be on certain things. We don't be on it together. He's not around me all the time, but me and him vibe on something. Yeah, we ain't doing all that running around. We ain't doing that. We're at our people max for the day. We came, we saw, we're done. We are peopled out. It is time for us to recharge. We out of here. And that's just it. Now, what can Nasia do? Because Nasia gonna force him to be sociable? No, he don't want to be. He want to chill. He want to take a breather.
And I was gonna say that about my son Noah. Noah is I do see personality. I'm just gonna put like this. You're gonna have your person. I'm just gonna hope to curve you to do it a certain way. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like Noah is bossy. Like, he literally points at you like, don't do that. Go sit down. I like the potty training is trash me. So anybody out there that want to potty train him, I'll make you hold him down for a month, 2 weeks, whatever you feel you need, and you could bring him back, because he literally looks at me and says, no potty. I was like, you got to go to the potty? No, mommy. No pee-pee. No potty. So it's like he has that bossy thing. He pushes people around. He really feels like he's in charge, and I don't know where it came from. I don't know.
It's the new babies.
It's just who he is. But I'm gonna hopefully try to get him to do it less to adults, or less to certain things. Like, I'm gonna try my best to curve that person. But I definitely agree with you. Let us know if it's the parents, or is it the child, or is it a mix of both? I mean, what do you feel? Do you feel that if the child becomes a terrible person, that now we got to start looking at how they were raised, or do you say nope, no matter what the mama did, it's basically their whole fault from the rooter to the tutor?
So we are at the end of this week's episode. As we said, keep the conversation going in the comments. Let us know. Nasia's on a 70-20. I don't necessarily have a grading scale. I just think, you know, if you did the best that you could as a parent, you know, outside of the things that we know are definitely wrong, like neglect, abuse, et cetera, if you did the best you could and your child grows up to be an unfavorable person, it ain't on you. Okay, you did the best you could. So yeah, just let us know. And drop it also in the comments, you know, let us know any topics you want to discuss. And if you want to be a guest on the show.
Remember to check us out at all of our socials, ETKS Podcast on everything. Please check us out. Remember to like this video. I'm gonna give you a second. Go right now. Like, all right. Then now what you're gonna do is drop down in the comments, and you're gonna comment and let us know how you feel, what you think, what you thought, how you know what's going on. And then when you've done all of that, head over to that share button right there. You know that little one, how it look. Share it with a friend. Tell them, is it your mama fault the way? Go to somebody that you know they're a trash ass person and say, is it your mama fault that you were this way? Is your daddy fault that is this way? Is it your fault? You know, maybe you could walk somebody right into therapy right there. You know what I mean? So definitely do that. So like, comment, share, subscribe. Just hit the notification bell, do all those great things.
But as always, it's the same time, it's the same place, it's the same show, it's the same channel. And we'll see y'all next week with a brand new episode. Be good to each other. See y'all later. Bye.